disagree with these takes?
No way.
No way.
Or do you approve?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
No diggity, no doubt. It's time to ask Michael Lombardi. No way or no doubt?
All right, let's dive right in because there has been so much talk about this San Francisco 49ers team and about how there is a gap. It's them and everybody else right now with the way that they have been playing football, Michael. So when it comes to the biggest game of the year, it is Super Bowl or bust this year for the 49ers. No way or no doubt.
Well, there's no way it's not, right? I mean, they've got such a good young team and a quarterback on a rookie contract that there's no way they won't be back again next year. But there's no doubt this is a big moment. This isn't the biggest game, but this season is the big moment, right? If they win the game, great. If they don't win the game, they're going to go on and win their games, and then you got to deal with them in the playoffs. So for me, I think to me this will be a great game to watch Christmas Day, Christmas night. But I don't see this as being, if they don't win, their season's falling apart. They're going to have a trajectory as long as they keep all these pieces around the quarterback under contract with a rookie contract. They're going to be in good shape.
What would you consider this season a failure if the 49ers don't at least make the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, I think any team that I would have put in that have dominated games as many as Baltimore and San Francisco have, if they don't make their run. Now, we can't predict can they win the game. I mean, look, Arthur Blank was on the field when he's up 28-3. He was getting his finger fitted for a ring, you know? I mean, I can't predict whether they're going to win it all, but this is your moment. You're going to make your run right now.
Injuries, in my mind, I feel like are the one thing that could hold San Francisco back
right
in that instance. So if they stay healthy, then if they stay healthy, then yes, I would say it's a failure. If they don't, we can't. That's something that we just can't account for at this point.
If they lose Purdy or if they lose one of their guys, this is not. It's a hard thing to do. You got to stay healthy all the way through. I mean, look, how about New England? Remember, New England loses Gronk on a field extra point. And that hurt them in that playoff run. New England loses Gronk in a championship game on a high ankle sprain. And when he wasn't he played against the Giants, but he wasn't effective. I mean, those things matter.
Okay, no way or no doubt. The Buffalo Bills are number one on the list in terms of teams you don't want to play in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I think that's right. I think you don't want to play Buffalo because they're confident, they're cocky, they got a great player at quarterback, and they have momentum. And one thing we know about all those people that talk about do this on third down, do this on fourth down, football is a game of momentum and belief. And when you have momentum and belief, you can go far. And right now they do. That Daquan Jones, they just put him on the 21-day window to come back. If he's able to come back and they get that boost from their defensive line with him on the field, huge, huge. That'll give Miami trouble. That'll give Kansas City trouble. That'll give any of their opponents trouble if they get him back inside.
And I know the Cowboys were dealing with an illness this week, but still held to a season low 195 total yards. They were 5 of 13 on third down. Every week is playoff football for the Bills. And despite being on the outside looking in of the playoff picture, just plus 650 to win the AFC right now, fourth on the odds board, despite, again, being on the outside looking in at this point. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars, Michael? No way or no doubt. The Jags are going to lose the AFC South division race. They've dropped 3 games in a row.
I get the sense when I watch Jacksonville that they have no real toughness to them. So, and I think the Texans do. Now, the Texans have been hit with this injury bug, and that's a real problem. So, for me, I still favor Jacksonville. This is a huge game for them going over to Tampa. But if they don't have Lawrence and they go with C.J. Beathard, which they have to do if they don't have Lawrence, that's an issue. So, I would still sprinkle money on, but there's no doubt that they're in a very difficult situation right now. They are, and I would lean towards Houston.
Well, and you mentioned Lawrence, who's in the concussion protocol, but also still had the fumble on the play without being touched. We know the offensive line issues they have, inconsistencies in the run game, throw in a bunch of penalties lately as well. There's a lot of things that just look off for Jacksonville right now. So I definitely question whether or not they can hold on. You mentioned the Texans. They've got the Browns, Titans, and at the Colts as their remaining 3 games. Jags, who are a minus 130 favorite in the division, at Tampa this week, as you referenced. Again, the Panthers and at the Titans. And then the Colts, plus 270, same price as the Texans right now, are at Atlanta, and then have the Raiders and Texans. They've won 5 of their last 6, so some options there. Let's go to Mr. Tyreek Hill. Now, listen, we did have the news update. He's not going to practice today. Head coach Mike McDaniel said that's just part of making sure he's all cylinders go as the Dolphins prep for the Cowboys this week. So, should Tyreek play this week and the next 2 weeks, Michael? No way or no doubt, Hill can still eclipse 2,000 yards and break Calvin Johnson's single-season record.
No way he can do that. I mean, it's going to be hard for him, and especially if he's not 100%. But I wouldn't put it past him, but there's no way I think he can. Because, look, when he's back on the field, everybody knows you got to take him out of the game. He's the most important piece to their offense. And Dallas knows this. Buffalo certainly knows this. So I think they've got to make sure, more than him getting 2,000 yards, they got to make sure that he's healthy.
He has 1,542 yards right now. He'll need to average 141 per game to beat the record, 153 per game, which he's done 5 times this season, in order to break 2,000. So it would be an uphill battle, and facing some defenses that don't give up a ton to receivers as well. So I don't think he can do it, but I'm sad. I really, really wanted him to get there because he was calling his shot in the preseason. He said, it's on my bucket list. I'm going to get 2,000. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. I wanted it for him. Seems like it's going to be a rough one to get. Let's go to those Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, no way or no doubt, road issues will continue this week in Miami against the Dolphins.
No doubt. I mean, and the fact that they're playing Vic Fangio's their defense, and Vic Fangio's really good, and their defense is really good. And if the Cowboys don't improve in their offensive line, if they don't get more physical, if they don't play well on the road, bad lines don't travel. And I'm not saying they're a bad line, but what I am saying is they have not performed well on the line, on the offensive line on the road, and that's going to be the problem. Look, you evaluate if you're a general manager in the league, you evaluate your teams on the road games, not the home games. You evaluate them on the road games. That's your basis of your player evaluation, because that gives you an indication where there is some disadvantage, and you want to see how your players react with that disadvantage. And the Cowboys haven't mustered it yet. And a lot of it is defensive related. They got to play from in front. They don't play from in front on the road against good teams. San Francisco blew them out. We saw Buffalo blow them out and have to play from behind. That ain't going to work. You can beat Carolina like that. You're not going to beat the good teams. Yeah,
they're 7-0 at home, 3-4 on the road. They have outscored opponents at home by 171 points total. They're -4 on the road. Crazy to think how big that gap is. Mike McCarthy's acknowledged it. Michael Parsons even called it embarrassing and said it needs to get fixed. He said it's unacceptable and mind-boggling. Let's go to this one, because I know this is your favorite question. No way or no doubt, Brock Purdy's a system quarterback, Michael.
No way. I mean, that's such an overused term. And then when a guy doesn't play well in the system, nobody says anything. It's like the system helps him. There's no question. But he makes the system go. He makes it go. I mean, just look at Kyle Shanahan's record when he doesn't have a quarterback that can make the system work. He doesn't do it. I mean, Nick Mullen couldn't do it. So for me, I think that's just that's people that don't understand the game that say that, because it's not an easy game. It's hard. He makes some really great throws and makes some great decisions.
Christian McCaffrey had some interesting comments on Tom Brady's podcast this week, because Brady said, Christian, you would get my vote for MVP right now. And he said, everybody calls Brock a system quarterback, but every quarterback is a system quarterback. They all play within a system. It's who can do unique things to take the system a step further. And he felt that Brock did that. But I feel like we're going to have this debate for the next few weeks. And this week is going to be super important against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, who's an MVP candidate. Who's going to have the MVP for performance on Christmas night, Michael? If you had to call your shot right now, Lamar, Brock Purdy, or CMC, who's going to stand out?
I would say CMC. I think he'll play well because in space and all that. I mean, look, I never underestimate how great of a player Lamar Jackson is.
No, I'm right there with you. Christian McCaffrey, by the way, now second only to Jerry Rice for a single season number of touchdowns. He's on the way. Rice had 23 in a season. CMC has 3 games to go, and he's at 20. So it'll be a fun race to see if he can make a little bit of history with one of the best ever to play the game. But that debate about who's going to be MVP on his own team is going to continue certainly over these next couple of weeks.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.